Welcome, everybody, to the Fantasy and Frames Best Ball Show. I am Stacy Perez, and joining us tonight from the Fourth and Frame Show is Chris Battistel. Tonight, we are doing our first post-NFL draft of the season. Let's get to it. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and drafting with us. Guys, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel over on YouTube, and head on over to fantasyandframes.com for more amazing fantasy football advice from all of us here at the Fantasy and Frames crew. Guys, tonight we are doing an underdog draft. We are not doing the Best Ball Mania. We're going to be doing that on Sunday, so make sure to jump in for that. Tonight we're doing a standalone draft, 12-team. We have got a 18-man roster, 10 bench spots, 3 wide receiver lineup, and the scoring is a half PPR, 30-second clock. Like I said before, joining us tonight is Chris from our fourth and frame show, Fantasy and Frames. Hello. Chris, what's up? How's it going?
Pretty good. It's been a busy day. I've been dealing with kid drama and work drama, but I'm happy to be here with you, ready to draft some best ball. I unfortunately don't draft a lot of best ball, so I'm excited for the experience. We do not have it available up here in Canada, but once they do, I'm going to use the experience that I'm taking here from you and put it into that. So I'm ready to go.
Yes. All right. Well, so speaking of Canada, guys, I'm just going to get the elephant out of the room. Chris and I are putting aside our hockey rivalry here to come and draft best ball with all of you. And, I have to give it up to the Leafs. They beat my Lightning. That's okay. I'll just cry into our Stanley Cups. It's totally fine.
The old Patrick Waugh is saying, I can't hear what you're saying because my 2 Stanley Cup rings are plugging my ears.
Exactly.
But you guys have had enough success. I mean, share the wealth a little bit, all right?
It's time to get some rest, time to let our guys heal up and let somebody else take it this year.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, it looks like we are starting. We are getting ready to go here. We've got it all filled. I'm going to put our draft board up here on the screen for everyone to see.
Where are we drafting?
We are drafting out of the, let's see.
12.
12. Oh, wow. 12 spot. All right.
Do you have a preferred draft slot in these best ball drafts?
I tend to prefer somewhere in the middle. That's usually where I like to go. Being on the end either way, I don't really love, just because sometimes, you have to reach for your players. Yeah. I'm definitely more of a fan of just being in the middle and enjoying kind of that, not having to wait as long. So that's really nice. So also joining us tonight, I know we have got Gator in here. We've got Jorge's drafting with us too. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Gator J with the 102.
Yeah, right?
Love to see it.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, Dynasty Dysfunctional is joining us too. You are in the draft? Which team is yours, Dynasty Dysfunctional? Let us know in the chat. And speaking of chat, guys, make sure to jump on in and give us questions, anything like that, any kind of comments on our picks. Just put that on up in the chat. Oh, Travis Kelce, number 1 pick.
The 101, starting off with the firepower. Now it is 1 QB. So you're not going to see QBs drafted too early. Given that it's best ball, when do you prioritize drafting your quarterbacks in the 1 QB leagues?
In the 1 QB leagues, so typically I have always been kind of a not last, but kind of a lower QB person. I'm going like maybe around 6, 7, 8, something like that. But last year, it was all like the year of the elite quarterback, right?
Yeah, it was.
So I definitely got burned on the teams that I took a guy a little bit later. I had a lot of Jared Goff, Derek Carr teams. And let's just say those weren't quite as successful as my teams with Jalen Hurts and Mahomes. So I think that's kind of scared me a little bit. And what I've kind of noticed in my drafts that I'm doing so far is going through and doing definitely trying to take a little bit, a QB a lot sooner. So
Yeah. So like that 4 or 5, maybe like the 6 range you said, if there's someone enticing enough still on the board, you don't mind going up and grabbing that elite quarterback, someone that has the opportunity to finish as a QB1. We got Travis Kelce 101, Justin Jefferson 102, Jamar Chase 103, Christian McCaffrey at the 4, Tyreek Hill at the 5. The first rookie off the board, Bijan Robinson, number 6. You love to see it. Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs. And then if we could just see the rest of the board there.
Oh, did it not? Oh, let's see. Let's scroll over a little bit. All right, so we are on the clock. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so we're on the clock. So what I think I'm going to do here is, since we're a 3 receiver set, I think I'm going to start with, how about
double wide out?
Yeah, I think I'm going double wide out.
Brown, yeah, good pick there.
Now, there's Devontae Adams here, but how about this? What do you think about Amon-Ra St. Brown here?
I love the situation with Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially with Jamison Williams out. They got Jahmyr Gibbs back there. I like the connection with Jared Goff. They've been playing together all offseason, so he is definitely going to be in that tier break for me. So I love the combination of the double A wide receivers.
Yes. I had to pass up on my beloved Devontae Adams, but
I just don't know about the situation there with Jimmy G throwing the ball. I don't know what his production's going to be like.
I feel like with Jimmy, you kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be average, which you can deal with. That's great. But, if you're looking for a little bit more production, then, maybe look elsewhere.
And he is elite with the ball after the catch. So you got to hope that at least Jimmy G can find him in the intermediate routes, and then Devontae Adams just works his magic. Garrett Wilson after Devontae Adams, which was picked at the 15 as the 15th player. Heavy wide receiver, as you said, it's a 3 wide receiver draft. Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle. No real surprises yet, other than maybe Kelce 101.
And and honestly, I don't hate that. This is I definitely don't hate Kelce 101. I mean, that's how can you go wrong, right? You know exactly what you're getting with him. He's the number 1 guy on probably one of the best offenses in the league. So
no doubt. Josh Allen, the first quarterback taken.
Yeah, so Amon-Ra over, we've got a comment here from Fantasy Football Garage. Amon-Ra over Devontae and Garrett Wilson. It was bold, and he likes it. That's how we like to draft over here. We like to be bold.
That's it. Oh, we lost Stacy. I lost the draft. Amon-Ra St. Brown over Adams and Garrett Wilson. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Apparently, I just got out of our stream. So sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. But can you guys, we got the board back up. Okay.
Back, yeah.
Little technical difficulties here. That's all right though.
Now, how important, because I mentioned at the beginning, I'm not a big best ball player. How important is the stacking strategy for you?
I'm a big fan of stacking, especially when you've got maybe if you do a receiver quarterback or a quarterback running back. I love stacking in that way. So I don't want to. I mean, obviously everybody knows who I've got AJ Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown there, so you can definitely do a few fun things with those offenses.
Yeah.
So I definitely like that. I mean, I think there's a point at which you can stack too much. You don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah, you don't want to invest your whole portfolio on a one offense.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. But Jared Goff is probably a quarterback that you're going to be able to draft in that 6, 7, 8 range.
Especially since somebody just snagged Jalen Hurts for me. Rude. All right.
Ramondre. Who are you looking at next?
So I'm looking at our quarterbacks that we've got left. We've got Justin Fields is left. Let's see. We've got some really good ones. We've got Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Those are all really great guys, I think, in the, those upper echelon quarterbacks that you're looking at. So, I think what I might be doing here, not to give too much away, is I think I definitely want to target a quarterback coming up here. We're going to be drafting in got a little bit of time, but I think that's what I'm going to be doing, is definitely trying to get one of those guys. And who knows? I mean, I don't know if, if everything's just going to overcorrect, after just having such a great year with those elite quarterbacks last year.
Yeah.
So who knows? It's hard to tell those things and what the outcome is going to be. But I don't think it's going to hurt you to have a really good quarterback on your team, regardless of how it shakes out. So,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Breece Hall, Tony Pollard. Well, I think one of my guys is going to be here. So,
Kenneth Walker, Calvin Ridley. I think that's some pretty good value there in Jacksonville.
absolutely. Oh, I like that. I like that group they've got there.
Lamb, Wilson, and Calvin Ridley in a
Yeah,
start 3 wide receiver
that's really
best
nice.
ball league. That's pretty dangerous lineup there. Does Calvin Ridley worry you at all with the amount of football that he's missed?
I think that's always a concern. I think you can go a couple ways. Like he's had a ton of rest, right? So he's not going to have as much wear on the tires. But then also he's also been out for so long. So, definitely a concern with him. But I think he's in a good offense. I think he's got a
Yeah.
great spot there. So I've definitely taken him in a few places. I think, I'm going to take somebody that I haven't taken a lot lately. Actually, I don't think I've taken him at all. Is Justin Fields.
Ooh, like
I
it.
really, really love his upside. He's just such a fun player to watch, and he's in that group for me, that elite quarterback group. So definitely happy to have him on my team. I think I'm definitely gonna go receiver here. I've got 9 seconds left. Tell me how you feel about this pick.
I love the Amari Cooper pick. He's been a guy that I've been able to draft at a value in startups this past offseason. He's the number 1 wide receiver in that offense. He's the best wide receiver in that offense. He gets targeted heavily in the red zone, so the scoring opportunities are there. He's got a safe floor. He sees a lot of volume in that Cleveland offense, so I love it.
Yeah.
Solid pick.
Oh, look at that. We started that running back, or not running back, the quarterback rundown here.
Lawrence Jackson,
Mhm.
Najee Harris.
Are you a little surprised that Lawrence went before Jackson?
A little surprised seeing that Lamar Jackson does now have some elite weapons or good weapons in that offense tied to his running ability. Is the scoring 4-point passing TD?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, in that case, I would prioritize the premier rushing quarterback like a Fields or a Lamar Jackson over a guy that Trevor Lawrence is no slouch as a rusher. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to take the guy that has proven to be a pretty good passer. His MVP season, he threw 36 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards. He ran over 1,000 yards. So I'm definitely taking Lamar over Trevor Lawrence. It's not surprising, but for me, I'm prioritizing Lamar Jackson in this situation.
Yes.
Now, who are some players that you don't really want to touch, and who are on the other side of that? Who are some players that you try to walk away with without giving too much of
Yeah.
your strategy away here? If some people are in the draft and watching or listening, but who
So
are some guys that you try to walk away with, and then who are some guys you try not to walk away with?
well, first off, I'm going to try to make our draft board into the full screen so that everybody can see that. So everybody bear with me for just a second. I'm going to give that a try. And that so a few people that I kind of don't necessarily love are Joe Mixon, for example.
Hmm.
Not a big fan of his this year. He kind of makes me a little bit nervous, to be honest. Especially with, is that better for everybody? I feel like that might be a little bit better view. Hopefully everybody likes that a little bit better. And that's a little bit easier to see. Yeah, but Joe Mixon, just because I'm just really kind of concerned regarding that, that's possible suspension coming up. I know the Bengals have come out and said that they're committed to him, but he's not a favorite of mine, to be honest. And I just honestly, I don't have him really anywhere. Of course, that being said, if he falls to you, 7th, 8th round for some reason, it's hard to turn away value like that. So, it's really just kind of in the right situation, I would take him.
Sure, if the value's there,
Yeah,
but you'd rather
exactly.
let someone else deal with the headache of
Yes.
having Joe Mixon on their roster.
100%. Him too, and
Yep.
I gotta tell you, and this isn't for all time, I know you should not hold grudges as a fantasy player, but I gotta tell you, I do hold grudges sometimes. But that is not this. This year, I am personally staying away from Javonte Williams. I
Ooh,
am
yeah,
too
I don't
concerned.
hate it.
Yeah, I'm too concerned about that injury. I think there's a
Mhm.
lot more going on there than we all know about, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he may or may not even play this year.
Yep,
You know, I've
yep.
heard so many things about that injury, how long it's gonna take him to come back. I just don't love it, and for me, it's a no, even at really any pick, honestly. And,
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
I could definitely be wrong about that. I was
Mhm.
always wrong about a few things, right? But
Those
yeah,
are one
that
of those situations that you're okay being wrong there
yes.
because of the injury. Pretty much blew up almost every ligament in his knee.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good with fading Javonte Williams, any kind of redraft or a best ball draft like this. Now, dynasty wise, it's a little bit of a different paintbrush that you're painting with when you're building these teams. So he's a guy that I would like to maybe stash away, a guy that you might be able to snag off a competing team midway through the season for a little bit of value if he's not performing up to what those managers were hoping that he would be. But yeah, in this case, redraft, I
Mhm.
don't think I'm touching Javonte at all.
No, no, and look, Fantasy Football Garage, also says 0% Javonte exposure. All right, guys, we are on the clock. You know, I can't help myself. I think I'm going with another receiver here,
Yeah.
and this is one of my old standbys, one of my favorite guys. Um, I just love me some Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk, I love it.
I
Good
love that
pick
dude.
there.
And, so going into the 6th round here, I mean, I guess it's time to take a running back, I guess. So me, I tend obviously, you can see my draft, I tend to be more of like a 0 RB drafter,
Mhm.
so I'm going after those guys a little bit later. So, Isaiah Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco,
I
our
do.
guy Jorge just traded him away in the Fantasy and Frames Dynasty League for a couple rookie picks or a rookie pick, the 111, I believe it was.
Ooh,
Maybe it's a no faith thing over there. They didn't really draft anyone to kind of
mhm,
take his position. They did sign
yeah,
Deneric Prince, I think it was,
yeah.
the UDFA, and they did re-sign Jarek McKinnon, the league winner
That's so good to hear, right?
from last
I'm so
season.
pleased about that.
Justin Herbert. I think that's good value on Justin Herbert there.
Oh, totally. I mean, I just saw that because he was in my queue, and I was like, "Wait a second, why is Herbert still here?" So, yeah, excellent excellent, value on Herbert. Dallas Goedert goes, he's definitely a guy on my list that I
Mhm.
like a lot this year. Um, I guess I should probably start looking at tight ends as well. Um, we'll put a few guys in the queue, see what we can get with them a little bit later, maybe.
Yeah, after Goddard here, it gets a little murky with the tight ends. But in the one QB best ball draft, how many QBs should you be targeting?
So I definitely like to take 2. It depends on my guys. If I get a stud, quarterback, I'm probably only taking 2, you know, just somebody to cover for, you know, their bye week
Mhm,
or God forbid they get injured. You know, occasionally I'll take 3 just
mhm.
depending on, like I said, who it is,
Yeah.
but somewhere between 2 and 3. I'm not going crazy, not getting 4. I think that's just a waste of your roster spot, especially with only having 18 spots.
Yeah, I don't hate it there. And then tight ends, I'm guessing the same thing. You know, one tight end, you're trying to maybe get two cover buys. But with the buys, once the schedule comes out, with the best ball format, do you target maybe two specific bye weeks to try to stack the bye weeks in order to try to gain some wins and have stronger teams in the off bye weeks?
You know what? I actually don't. That's a great idea. I think I'm gonna write that down and steal that
Hey.
for later. I try not to pay too much attention to bye weeks.
Yeah, yeah,
Just and especially now, drafting now, I mean, there's, you know, there's no way to know that. I guess what the
sure.
11th is when it's
The
coming out?
11th is scheduled release. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
NFL, no one does it like the NFL. They got an extravaganza for the schedule release. The draft is 3 days. The first day is such a spectacle. You gotta love it. There is no off season for the NFL. For us, it's the on season, right, Stacy?
it's always there's never an off season, and you gotta
Yeah,
give to 'em, right, with their marketing, just, like, keeping the NFL in people's faces 24/7,
gotta
365.
love it.
I
Gotta love
mean,
it.
It really is. I mean, there is football news every day, every
Yep.
month, the entire year. So they, keep it going. And that's why it's so popular. All right. Rashad White. I mean, look here. We have a question. 4 wide receivers with great target share potential. Likes the start. Not sure if Pacheco's ADP has risen enough yet. It was like people baked into the Chiefs drafting a rookie running back. Yeah. And then we had a comment here, about with McKinnon as well. McKinnon was there last year. And, I think that it worked out pretty well with both of them. So given my build and the way that I kind of like to handle things there, I don't mind taking Pacheco there or even worrying about, any kind of target share that he may have with McKinnon. That doesn't bother me too much. And he's on one of the best offenses in the league. So, those guys are going to be fine.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, no big worries there. Oh, Darren Waller off the board.
That's a big one. That's a big one. When do you target rookies in these best balls? Do you kind of let them slide unless you're getting a premier one like a Bijan Robinson, or last season with the Brees Hall, Kenneth Walkers? Are rookies someone that you tend to latch onto in best ball, or is it because of the uncertainty or unknown of what their position is in that offense or what they can produce? Do you tend to just push them down the draft board?
So we are on the clock right now. I'm going to take a tight end real quick, and then I will answer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Evan Ingram, my first tight end.
Yep.
The running backs in this area are kind of ugly. So I may, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. You know what? Why don't we just get our tight ends out of the way, and then we don't have to worry about it the rest of the draft?
Like it.
Let's do a nice little Cleveland stack with our receiver and a tight end there.
I dig it. I dig the Njoku pick.
Big Njoku.
And the Evan Ingram pick. Yep.
Yeah, I like both those guys. Despite what people may tell you about Evan Ingram, he's a fun guy. We'll see. But that's why we get insurance. But yeah, as far as rookies go, before the draft, I'm a little bit more bullish. I'm just a little afraid, like, oh, okay, where are they going to land? If they land somewhere terrible, then I've wasted a pick essentially on a guy. Ooh, Devin H. Speaking of rookies going, Devon Achane. That is nice.
Is that Jorge in that spot? Fantasy and Frames.
It is. It is.
Yeah. He drafted him in the. I believe he drafted him in the Fantasy and Frames Dynasty rookie draft that we had. Yeah.
I think
he went 3 running backs straight there.
Yeah.
And the chat just blew up. Gotta love it. No one was happy that all the running backs were disappearing, but I think he went with Charbonnet, your guy.
Yes.
He went with Devin Achane. I forget the other one that he picked up. Tank Bigsby.
Tank, you're right. Yeah, Tank Bigsby. Yes. Yeah, I like all 3 of those players. You guys will find out if you listen to our Dynasty 365 show tomorrow night. You guys will find out my true feelings about Charbonnet's landing spot.
Can't wait.
Little teaser there for you. Speaking of our Fantasy and Frames draft this morning, I feel like I need to defend my second overall pick of Jahmyr Gibbs. I know that's wild. I know that's very bold. I own it. Okay. I know it's weird. I don't think it's that weird. Let me roll that back a little bit. I don't think it's that weird. So for those of you, just to catch everybody up, we have our Fantasy and Frames draft going on right now. And I did indeed take Jahmyr Gibbs at the 2 over the second overall pick today. Let me defend myself. My running backs are old as hell. And when we were drafting that portion of it, I said to myself, I'm going to wait till the rookie spot. I'm going to get some youth at running back. I'm on the second pick. By the time that it gets back to me, none of those guys are going to be available, right? So if I don't take him there, I've got to take him. I think he's in a fantastic landing spot. I love where he's at there. I think he's going to have a ton of opportunity. So too bad. If you don't like this overall too. I like it.
I liked it. I'm not a big Anthony Richardson guy, so I don't mind the Jahmyr Gibbs pick there. Like you said, you went on team build over value, which I don't hate as a strategy at all. Worst case scenario, you package some of your older running backs to teams that maybe are competing for 21 firsts, and you grab a quarterback there. The quarterback class next year is heavy at the top with Caleb Williams and Drake May coming in. And then you got some second tier guys like Michael Penix, Quinn Ewers, and Cam Ward. So there is some nice picks there. And then, of course, there's always guys that are going to slip through the cracks that you're going to be able to get at a value. So I didn't hate the Jahmyr Gibbs pick. It is bold in a super flex league. Considering your quarterbacks as well, I think it's Derek Carr and Tua Tagovailoa, but I like it. Kirk Cousins just went. I love Kirk Cousins this year. They put Jordan Addison around him. They got Justin Jefferson there. Their running back situation is still a bit murky. It's seeming like Dalvin Cook is going to stay. Is Dalvin Cook a player, if he stays in Minnesota, that you're going to be drafting?
I've never been a good or a real Dalvin Cook fan. Yeah. I don't think I've had him really on any of my teams. I'm trying to think back. And I don't really know why. I mean, it's not like he's a good running back. He's a great running back. And, you know, he plays on a great offense. So it's just one of those vibes things for me personally. I don't really have a solid reason to back that up with, like, you know, researched rationale or anything. It's just more, I'm just totally based on vibes, and he doesn't give me good vibes. So like I said, just never been a great fan. I mean, hashtag analysis on that for you. But yeah, just never been a big Dalvin fan. So yeah, don't love him. I'll let other people take Dalvin.
Now, who are some guys to you that are considered maybe best ball only players?
Oh gosh. Okay. So like some best ball only players, you know, who was always one for me was Tyler Lockett, because he was so boomer, right? And it was just always, okay, oh, I don't have anybody in my queue. So hold that thought.
Yeah. Do your thing.
So
you got a run of running backs: Zach Charbonnet, James Conner, Tank Bigsby, AJ Dillon.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, right? I think I gotta do it. I think I gotta pull that trigger on the green.
Shore up the So what are you thinking here? Running back, wide receiver, double running back.
I might do. I don't. Oh, that's
maybe a quarterback, because you only got the one, right?
Yeah, I do only have the one. So for sure, just because somebody took Alvin Kamara, so guess what? I'm gonna take Swag Daddy.
Jumbo. I love it. Love the pick.
Swag Daddy gonna put him up there. All right, our second pick. That's a great question. Let's see what quarterbacks are available. We got Zeno, Jared Goff. You know what? Yeah, why not? Let's go ahead, and so that we can do that stack, let's go ahead and take our boy Jared Goff here.
He's always good for a couple of 40-point weeks.
Yes.
He might not be it all the time, but you got Justin Fields there as the balance. I love the Jared Goff pick.
When you least expect it, there he is, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And they're talking of potentially extending Jared Goff. So that's a good sign. I like that.
I do too. And you know what? I mean, good for him. I just, when he got traded to Detroit, I thought, man, like what a crappy situation for him. Like going from the Rams to Detroit, like, you know, they're basically, we don't want you anymore. We want this new shiny toy, Matthew Stafford. But I feel like he's had a really good career in Detroit. Like he's done really well there. So,
and they love him.
Good for him. Yeah, they love him. And you know, what a fun team to watch. I mean, they're like one of the most fun offenses to watch.
Yeah. You know, coaching staff, everything is fun over there.
I know. And, you know, I mean, they were the wild Goff is
crikey.
Were the Hard Knocks darlings of last year, which I definitely got sucked in to that. I mean, after watching Aiden Hutchinson, you know, sing Billie Jean.
Oh, that was gold. That was gold. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Sam Laporta right here.
Okay, yeah, Sammy the Door.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Because I love this landing spot for him in Detroit.
I fought with putting him as my tight end 1 over Dalton Kincaid and over Mike Mayer. I love where I've been able to get him in rookie drafts as the 3rd, maybe 4th tight end. I'm not comfortable reaching for a tight end in that first round, no matter who it is. I've seen Dalton Kincaid go from the 1-8 to 1-12 spot. Give me Sam Laporta on that offense. They don't really have a pass-catching tight end anymore. They got rid of TJ Hawkinson. They have Brock Wright there. I forget the other fella's name, but Sam Laporta is a guy that's going to get dirty in the trenches. He's not an elite blocker, but he's going to be physical. He's going to be a hardworking guy, and he can catch the heck out of the ball. That plus he's an Iowa tight end, and Iowa is tight end university. He's worth the shot. I love the landing spot. He might take a little bit, like most rookie tight ends do, to catch up and develop and work into that system. But it's a system that we've seen guys like the guy I just mentioned, Brock Wright, produce. So give me Sam Laporta where he's being drafted right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, as soon as Hawkinson got traded, everybody was on like, what's the Lions depth chart at?
Yeah, who's the most athletic guy? And then I think Brock Wright had like a 2-touchdown game, and then he had like 0 points the next week. Then there was another guy. I want to say Zylstra, but I'm not 100% sure it was Zylstra.
Oh gosh. Oh man, I would need like a multiple choice, something right now.
None of the above.
No, yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I mean they were, and doesn't that just sum up tight end last year, right? Just like one week somebody's gonna have 2 touchdowns, the next week they're gonna have 0. It's just, I mean, other than your Kelsey and your Andrews, I mean, it was just, and then Hawkinson really, but gosh, it was such a wasteland.
Yeah, it really is. So much disappointment. Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
You want to reach for these guys sometimes, because if you get one of those elite tight ends, it's plug and play, and you don't want to worry. You don't want to have to worry about streaming every week. But sometimes these elite tight ends, especially last year, just underproduced, and you kicked yourself for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so hard to know, from week to week with those guys, who's going to be the one out there. I mean, even take a look at the tight end situation over in Denver. I mean, my gosh. I mean, Dulcich, Albert O, and now they've got Troutman. That's just wild. And I was really high on Dulcich, and I don't even know what to think now. I mean, there's so many people out there.
Yeah, it's crowded over there.
For sure.
I like the value that Jimabet got on Kyler Murray there and Samaje Perine.
Yeah.
Situation with Javonte Williams. They brought Samaje Perine into Denver with the outlook of him being that producer early on in that offense. And then Kyler Murray, not expected to start at the beginning of the season, but as a fantasy asset, he's an elite producer.
So I'm trying to take a running back here, but
just keep getting sniped.
Everybody's sniping me. Oh my goodness. So I have 3 guys left on my in my queue here, and it's a little early to take one of them. So I'm hoping that he comes back to me. So keep your fingers crossed.
Who is it?
Oh yeah.
Almost got you.
Almost got me. Yeah, I'm gonna take somebody that I don't really have too much of, but given that he's gonna be my 3rd running back, let's do it. I'm gonna take some Damian Harris here.
I like that pick.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's take a look. Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing this. I'm gonna take a rookie receiver here.
Ooh.
Jalen Hyatt.
Ooh, I like it.
Right? I mean, it's New York. They have a room full of mediocre talent at receiver. Why not? Right? I mean, let's get a guy who's just going to blow the lid off a defense and then give a downfield target for Daniel Jones to throw to. I mean, it can't be any worse than Sterling Shepard and what they have now.
Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins.
Perez
Campbell. Oh, you sniped for him. I love the Hyatt pick, considering that Daniel Jones is a guy that can get the ball downfield. He's got a downfield weapon. We were expecting Kenny Golladay to be that guy in that Giants offense, and of course, he just didn't pan out. I love the Hyatt pick there. What round are we in? 12. So that was 12-1. You mentioned before you made your picks that you wanted to pick a guy that you may not have as much stock in.
Yep. That was Damian Harris.
Yeah. Do you tend to spread out your portfolio, or do you try to just stick with the guys that are producers?
So as much as I am try to be a creature of habit, I do, if I don't control it, I do end up taking a lot of the same people. So I try to make an effort if I'm doing a lot of these. And I think I'm doing more of these than I really ever have this season. So I just want to try to get as much exposure to a bunch of different guys, with the exception of the ones that I'm not touching, as I can, because you just never know, right? You never know what's going to pan out and who's going to hit and who's going to not. So, it's definitely good if you're going to be playing a lot of high volume to have as much exposure to different players, different builds, just kind of get as much out there as you can. Because, like, what if something, you get an injury and you have that guy on your entire, on every single lineup, then then you're just kind of out of luck. Oh, Roshan Johnson going
There he
to
is.
that is one Mr. Jim Bednar. And I'll tell you why I know that, because that is my fantasy football partner in crime right there,
Uh-oh.
dropping down the 3 spots. So yeah,
Like
definitely,
it.
definitely.
Love
And
the
that's
Roshan.
the guy that we talked about earlier today, taking in a slow draft that we're doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love the Roshan pick. Was he
Oh
the third guy that you were hoping came back to you?
no,
Oh, okay, okay.
he's not. He's not. And fingers crossed. I don't
That he
know if
makes
he'll
it.
get there. It's a little. He'll probably go in this round. This guy will probably go in the round that I'm
Now,
looking at here.
considering it is 18 rounds, right?
Yes.
Considering it is 18 rounds, when do you start taking shots? Because best ball, there's no waivers, you're not making trades. When do you start considering taking shots for guys that may not produce early on in the season, but have a good outlook to produce maybe into the playoffs, or guys that you're projecting to be fantasy producers mid-season, maybe handcuffs or other people's handcuffs? When do you start taking your shots with those without giving away too much of your strategy here?
We're getting there. We're getting to those
Yeah.
rounds. We're just taking dart throws, once it gets to a certain point. So the guy that I had on my queue, Gator, was Kendry Miller. So thank you for sniping me
Sniped.
on that one. I wanted to pair him with Jamal Williams. I just
Yeah.
thought that'd be a fun little spot. That's, speaking of, Kendry Miller is one of my favorite running backs for where
Mhm.
he landed. I think that's a great spot for him. I think they're phasing Kamara out. And as much as I do love Alvin Kamara, I think his time he's on a short leash there, I think, in New Orleans.
Yeah. There was even talks about possibly the Saints letting him go June 1st.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I mean, Kendry Miller is going to be a
Oh
steal.
man.
Jamal
If
Williams,
that
steal.
happens. Okay, so let's just say hypothetically, right? If Alvin Kamara got let go, what does that do to Kendry Miller? How far up the board does he go? Because right now that was round 13 is where he went.
Yeah, he's gotta go up there with some of the bigger boys. Probably past guys like Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert, maybe above Antonio Gibson, Damian Harris, above that line that we see there. He was my RB3 heading into the draft of the class. So if there is a chance that Alvin Kamara gets suspended,
Mhm.
gets released by the Saints, Kendrick Miller becomes a must-grab fantasy asset. You're on the
So
clock.
we are on the clock right now. And, I probably need to chill out with the receivers here. So
Go chill.
I think what I'm going to do, this is a little early, but we're on the end. So I think it's okay. I'm going to go with Jaylen Warren, who I also don't have a ton of, but I like his position. I had him a lot last year, backing up Najee.
Mhm.
I like the spot that he's in. I think he's a good little player. I think when he gets the time, that will be. I think I really like him. Sorry, I'm a little flustered. I've got like 9 seconds.
do
Okay.
do
You know what? This is also
do
going to
do
be early.
do do do
But
do
that's
do.
okay. I'm
Oh,
taking
you got it. Rasheed Rice. I
yeah.
like it. Like that pick.
He's probably not my favorite of the rookie receivers, but man, do I love that KC offense, right?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with anybody there, especially so speaking of like people in best ball, maybe that you might not take necessarily in a redraft. How about those receivers from Kansas City, right? I mean, they're all kind of, you never really know, with the exception of Kelsey, which, he's not a receiver, he's tight end, but still, like, he's their number one guy. All those other guys, you don't really know who's going to be from week to week.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
why not take them in a best ball?
Yep.
And
I
the weeks
agree.
that they go off, you're going to benefit. And the weeks that they don't, it's fine. You've got other people.
Yeah, I think Scantling's going to be a hyper targeted wide receiver in that offense. Tony's going to be the guy that's most likely drafted first,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with skipping Tony and waiting on a guy like Marquez.
So, fun or quick question trivia time for you. Do you know where
Ooh.
MVS went to college?
Was it Eastern Michigan?
No, that's where Sky Moore went to college.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, MVS went to the University of South Florida, which is
Okay.
where I graduated from, and so
All
that's
right
what
on.
he was.
Good stuff. Good
So
stuff.
fun little fact there. Ooh, Juwan
USF.
Johnson. Yeah, USF, go Bulls. Um,
I like it.
Juwan Johnson is somebody that I'm really watching this year. Had I
Hmm.
not taken tight ends earlier, I had him on my list. Um, Adam Troutman's gone. I don't
Hmm.
really see anybody else there in tight end, and I'm sure there's probably somebody that I'm just not thinking of.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom. Oh well, if
The
Sean Payton
thrill.
can't get him to Denver, like I think he's trying his hardest to get him to Denver, and it's
I
just
hope so. Get him out of New Orleans, please.
I was convinced that when they announced that he was going to be their coach, I was like, just wait. He's bringing Taysom Hill with him. Like
Get him out of here.
they'll be separated. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than him, you've got Juwan Johnson there in that role. And I kind of like I liked him last year. I think I like him a little bit more this year too. So definitely somebody if I'm gonna go later tight end that I'm looking at.
Yeah, and Derek Carr, as we've seen, can
Mhm.
produce high value tight ends. So I like it. He's a big touchdown threat as well. And
Mhm.
that's pretty much what you want from your tight end is the guy that's going to catch the touchdowns. Because not every tight end is like Travis Kelce, who's going to get 100, 150 yards and 2 tutties every week. When you're drafting late tight ends, you want those TD dependent guys or those high opportunity for touchdowns. So a guy like Juwan Johnson can be that guy for you. Same
Oh,
with Evan Ingram in that Jacksonville offense. Jacksonville's gonna always produce. Doug Peterson's always gonna make a tight end relevant. So and he uses them like wide receivers and screens and all different kinds of setups with their tight ends. So I loved the Evan Ingram pick. I acquired a lot of Evan Ingram before last season started, and I was paid off pretty handsomely with that acquisition.
oh yeah. All right. So we are going into the 15th round now. Curtis Samuel, Gerald Everett, team 3 is on the clock.
Big
Oh,
wide
Trey
receiver
McBride.
run.
Trey McBride. How do you feel about Trey McBride? Because I'm kind of digging him.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect out of Trey McBride,
Mhm.
especially if Kyler Murray doesn't start the season. If Kyler Murray misses a good amount of football to start the year, the only thing is, if Nuke gets traded, then I'm going to bump Trey McBride up my rankings. But if Nuke stays, I'm going to keep him where I got him, which is that mid-level tight end 2 with the possibility of being a high value tight end 2. I'm not as high on him as most. I like the talent. I need to see him. I need to see him produce.
Yeah. Ooh, CJ Stroud off the board.
Love that pick there.
Do you like that landing spot? Do you feel okay with him in Houston?
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah.
I like it. They're building something over there in Houston. They've got some weapons around him. He doesn't have the most elite wide receivers. I'd be better if I think it'd be a better situation if they kept Brandon Cooks and you had a guy that can really stretch the field there. They drafted Tank Dell, they drafted Hutchinson,
Mhm.
they got Robert Woods there.
The ghost of
Uh,
Robert Woods.
yeah, the ghost of Robert Woods,
A corpse.
exactly.
Robert Woods' his corpse.
They're they're building up a decent offensive line, so I don't necessarily hate it.
Jorge, you got to stop sniping me with the running backs. I really don't appreciate it.
Oh, Jaden Reed, my
Taking Jaden,
guy.
Chase Brown, Rude,
Love the
uh,
Jaden Reed pick there.
definitely on my list. So
I like the past 3 picks from Jorge there have been pretty
mhm,
solid.
absolutely. This is definitely gonna be a little early, but I'm doing it. So it's fine. I'm gonna talk myself into it. I'm gonna take Jared McKinnon to pair him
No,
with Jacob.
I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, so that's my plan there. As much as I hate going
No,
over,
you're not, Jorge. You're not sorry at all.
he's not. Of course, he's not. Yeah, that's like hashtag sorry, not sorry, right there. You know what might be fun? Why don't we see what happens? And so now we're talking about like dart throws, right? We're in 16, 17, 18 here in the last 3 picks. I'm going to take Zach Evans,
Ooh.
and I'll tell you why. And then I'm probably done with running back. um, So I'm taking Zach Evans, and this is why. I think the whole Cam Akers situation is weird. That was so weird last year. It was like he's not going to play, wants to be traded. Now they're fine, and everything's roses, and he's back. Jorge, sorry, not sorry. But so I don't understand the situation there. I don't understand that dynamic. I'm going to take Zach Evans. I know they have Kyron Williams as well, but I kind of like Zach Evans there as maybe a backup if things kind of go sideways with Cam Akers. So, and like I said, at this point, you're just hoping for somebody that hits. We're in the 16th round. I don't hate that there. Am I taking him in redraft? Probably not. But this is best ball. So you have to, a little bit different strategy with that. Ooh, is he going to Jorge there? I don't hate that pick either. Big fan of Mr. Abanikanda. I also just like saying his name.
Israel Abanikanda.
Right? You did that much faster than I could do.
Yeah, I've said it quite a few times. I'm a big college football fantasy player myself, so a lot of these guys I'm familiar with. And Israel Abanikanda was a guy who took me to the promised land in a few leagues last season. So I'm high on him. His landing spot's going to leave me, I think, with a little bit more to be desired with the Jets, but I love the player.
Yeah, I think he's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I wish that he had gone to somewhere that had a little bit more defined role for him rather than just in that committee. But I still think he's going to be a fun player to watch.
Yeah, I love the Mechie pick. Love the Mechie pick there.
I really hope that all the rumors are true that he is going to be able to come back this year. Because I think that's a great weapon for CJ Stroud.
Yep, he's practicing and he's got the clean bill of health to practice and play. So
good to hear.
If he can get it together and he can get the playing time on the field, I think he can instantly be that wide receiver 1 for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's not a hard room to go up and grab that spot in.
No. If there's any place where you've got an easier path to having that wide receiver 1 spot, it's definitely Houston.
Now, can you explain to me? You mentioned it at the top. Can you explain to me what the Best Ball Mania is and what I'm missing out on?
Yeah, so Best Ball Mania, Underdog does this. This is, I think, the 4th year that they've been doing it. So it's just a giant best ball tournament, right? So a ton of money in prizes, just a lot of fun to do. You're doing 12-team drafts just like this. You can check out the rules a little bit more on Underdog so you know exactly how it works and how you end up, getting up there and you're able to, win some of those prizes and what the prize breakdown is. But it's a lot of money, a lot of fun, $25 entry. So it's not going to be that big of a hit on your pocketbook. I plan on doing a few of those. Just what a fun time to do it, especially now that the draft's over. You've got a little bit more clarity on where these guys are, where they're going to be. Just a lot of fun. I love playing in these tournaments. $15 million. Thank you. I knew it was something like that, and I couldn't remember the exact number, so I didn't want to say it without having that in front of me. But thank you, Jorge. Yeah, $15 million in prizes. So I mean, that's crazy. Stephanie Miller jumping in. Hey girl. Hey girl. Hey.
I gotta take a trip down to Buffalo, get in some of this Underdog action.
Oh yeah,
$15 million up to grab.
Go spend a weekend in Buffalo, draft you some teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, guys. So Chris in Canada, so he can't do that.
No, unfortunately not. No DFS, no Underdog, no best ball. It's a little unfortunate because these look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, these are a ton of fun. Stephanie and I are going to be doing the draft together. Oh, yep, $3 million to first. They're paying out 33% in regular season prizes. Steph knows all about that stuff. She sure will tell us more on Sunday. By the way, Sunday is her birthday. So if you guys
way.
Are joining us on Sunday for the draft, make sure you bring a birthday present for Stephanie. All right, guys. So I have 2 more picks, my last 2 picks. Chris, you got anybody that you think we should throw a dart throw on right now?
I can't really see the draft board, so
Mhm.
I can't really give you too much insight on who to pick. But I would just throw maybe a lower wide receiver on maybe the depth chart, maybe a tight end, and of course, I know you said you're set on running backs, but taking a dart throw on somebody's handcuff is never a bad idea, especially someone with the possibility a high injury rate.
I'm gonna do something fun right there. I'm gonna take a homer pick
Yeah,
and take Luke
there you
Musgrave.
go. Like it.
From my Packers there. Here he's got oily hips, is how he was described. I think it was on NFL.com. So good times there.
Top
You know
tier
what?
analysis right there.
Let's
Oily hips.
let's just be a little different here. Like I said, trying to be different in the draft. Um, let's take one, Mr. Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba.
As a backup there. Who knows? Who knows? That I might live to regret that one. But I liked him last year to plug in and play when needed. So I think he's a good little backup. Jay says that I'm killing him. Was that in reference to the Musgrave pick or Chuba
Has to
Hubbard? Or
be.
maybe both. Who knows? Who knows? Stephanie says, am I worried with the Packers taking 2 tight ends? Yeah, I was kind of like, wait, when I saw the second time, I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing? We already took one of those. But you know what though, at this point, what they do in their drafts, I can never guess, because the only thing that is for certain is they are never going to take a weapon for whoever their quarterback is in the first round. It's just never going to happen. So whatever they do, it's always a surprise, always something weird. Oh, Jay says I'm killing him with all the picks. Well, hopefully that's a good thing for me anyway.
Picking in the 12, that's what you want to hear, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, Puka Nacua went off the board. That's a fun little pick. I think was
Yeah.
he BYU? Is that right?
Yep, BYU. That's right.
BYU. Yeah, he's a fun little player. I was
Yak
definitely
machine.
drafted.
Big yak guy. Desmond
Oh man.
Ritter, Jimmy G, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt still a free agent. Do you have a preferred landing spot?
I'm so torn because I was just the way I draft a lot of that zero RB. He was always a huge target for me, so I
Yep,
was
yep.
always going after Kareem Hunt, right? Do you think he's out of gas? Do you think he's done?
A little bit. Yeah, I'm fading him a bit. If he ends up in a situation like maybe back to Kansas City
Mhm.
where he was drafted, I might keep him where I got him. I just don't know what he's going to produce moving forward. So for me, he would have to land in a premier landing spot to make him a priority.
So I'm going to tell you, I certainly hope that he does not go back to Kansas City, because that would kill my Pacheco
Oh,
McKinnon.
yeah, it's true. And your Jerick McKinnon.
Exactly. Oh, our last pick, our Brock Purdy of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Who is it going to be?
Gator
16
with a
seconds left
Sean
on the
Tucker
clock.
pick.
Ooh, okay.
I like that.
Yeah, a little Buccaneer free agent signing there. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
KC is, yep, Stephanie's saying KC just signed, so that's looking,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. Oh, who was our pick? Did it time out?
Who's it gonna be?
I can't tell.
It's a brand new car.
Oh, it's Corey Davis. I don't know why
Is
it's
it
not.
Corey Davis? Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
don't
I
hate
just
that
pulled
pick
it up
there.
on my other screen where I'm actually drafting. So I'm not sure why it didn't pull up, but that's okay. I'll tell you guys. Spoiler alert, it is Corey Davis from the New York Jets. I definitely don't hate that pick. I think Rodgers is going to spread that ball around everywhere, and I think it's going to be infuriating for Wilson owners, including myself, especially when Lazard is the one getting like 2 touchdowns. I think
Yeah.
everyone's going to be freaking out, but who knows? Yeah, so I'm not sure why it won't show up there, but like I said, guys, it's Corey Davis. So thank you to everybody who participated in the draft tonight. Chris, do you want to go over a few teams? Do you want to take a look at
Sure.
these? See
Yeah,
what we
let's do
think
it.
about there in the chat. If you are drafting and you'd like us to go over your team, put it in the chat. Let us know. We'll get started with mine though down here at the end. Scroll on up here. Chris, if you had to grade my draft, don't worry about hurting my feelings. What would you say?
I go B-. only because your lack of real hard-hitting running backs, I think, is going to hurt you down the stretch. When you
Yeah.
get into that cold weather football, teams tend to change their strategies with what they do and lean on a bit more of the run. I would have preferred to grab maybe a solid anchor running back there, one of those high-valued guys over maybe Amari Cooper. Not that I hate the Amari Cooper. I love the
Mhm.
Amari Cooper pick there. But wide receiver-wise, I think your wide receiver room's an A right there. Quarterback, you got an A with Justin Fields, especially with the 4-point passing touchdown, an elite runner. So he's going to give you the advantage over some of the other guys that were picked either before or after. And then solid tight end room, a lot of guys, 2 guys that are going to get or 3 guys really with Luke Musgrave there as well. But with Evan Ingram and David Njoku there, you got guys that are going to see some good targets in their respective offenses. You got some high valued, maybe boom guys with Jalen Hyatt, Rashee Rice. You got some good guys that could break out later in the season with Chuba Hubbard and Zach Evans and Jalen Warren. If their guys in front of them get hurt, those guys could also see some boom weeks here and there. So I'm gonna give a B minus. I'm gonna give a B minus.
Yeah, I will take that. That's a solid B. B is a solid pick. I like that. I will take it.
B minus though. Don't get ahead of yourself with the B.
That's it. A B is a B. B is a
Yeah,
B.
that's it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I am taking it, guys. Again, thank you so much to everybody who jumped in the draft tonight. You guys are wonderful. I hope everybody keeps jumping in when we do these. Again, our next one is going to be on Sunday afternoon, a little bit later in the day. It's going to be 6 o'clock our time here, Eastern time. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure that you are subscribing to our YouTube channel and following us everywhere on social media so that you can get those updates, know when we're drafting, be able to jump in and join us. Also, make sure to check out the rest of our shows here on our Fantasy and Frames network. Chris, tell the people where they can find you and tell them about your show, what day you guys do it, what time, all of that stuff.
Yeah, you can find me at FFChrisB on Twitter, and you can find me all over the place on the Fantasy and Frames content network on YouTube. We got the Fourth and Frame show with Rhett, Drew, and myself. We were on Tuesdays. We have pivoted to Wednesdays after your Dynasty 365 show. This week, we got Jason Snyder from Dynasty Nerds on to talk about some of the NFL draft reaction. We also got a 2-round Superflex mock that we're going to go through. And of course, we just started, especially last night with Gator, the Mocking After Dark series. We fit in two rookie mocks last night, 2 Superflex rookie mocks. It was a ton of fun. So make sure you're checking that stuff out. And like Stacy said, like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you take in your fantasy football content.
Yes, guys. Stephanie is telling everybody she wants you guys to come out and take a birthday shot with her.
Yes.
I didn't know we were doing shots, but I will make sure I am prepared on Sunday afternoon for that. It will make our draft that much better. So, guys, make sure to jump on in for that. Again, thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Thank you, Chris, so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Shout out to Lennox recovering from his broken nose. I hope he is feeling so much better.
Poor guy.
He seems like he took it like a champ, though, so he'll have a good story for next time. Guys, make sure to visit our website, fantasyandframes.com. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good night, everybody.